after 6:30. So I'm going to call the meeting to order and turn it over to you, Mr. Reynolds.
Okay, we're looking at a resolution to clean up the 2020 budget. Brenda, you want to tell us why you're doing that?
Phyllis, are you there?
I'm here.
Okay, it's because of the auditors, but do you have anything else to add?
No, actually, we really did well. There wasn't a lot to clean up. Just a very few things just stuff that we bought or did that was not budgeted for 2020. So it's just something we have to have done before the auditors come.
Okay, next item is waiving competitive bidding for the city's insurance. Brenda, you want to tell us what that's about?
Yes, there is an ordinance, and we are asking for an emergency because we do get all of our insurance through the Arkansas Municipal League. They're very reasonable. They pay very well. We have our vehicle, property, and health insurance with them, and this is something that we have to do is waive competitive bidding to go ahead and continue with the plan that we have.
Okay, next item is to amend the 2021 budget. Your
Yes.
employees or something?
Well, okay, if you go to your after the ordinance about the insurance, I've got a whole packet of stuff here that we really need to amend that's kind of come up, and I thought it'd be better to go and amend it now and get it cleared out. The first thing I have on there is the animal control had to have a new heating and air conditioning. Theirs was completely gone. I'm sure it was probably the original one there. And so it was $6,400. So I'm asking to amend that one for $6,400. The next one is the Boys and Girls Club. You know, we did get some money a few years ago for any kind of roofs. We finally did. We got that one fixed, but they started having additional trouble with it. So the water was running down the ceiling and running down ruining the ceiling and running down the walls. So I did request 2 bids, and the low bid was $9,700. The next one is in executive under salaries, is because Dee Dee did break both of the bones in her ankle, and I had to have some help because our code office has already got one short because Tiffany is ill right now, and so she hasn't been working. So that salaries is to help me pay for a temporary person. State law says that I can hire a temporary person for 89 days without having to pay any insurance or retirement on a person. The next thing is professional fees. The reason I'm asking for more money there is we did have the lawsuit with Rockport / Kramer that was completed. We did get a bill for that, and that was a little over $10,000. I just asked for a little extra in case something else comes up before year end. But that did get all resolved. The annexations did stand in Malvern. And so that may be something that we need to ask Cecilia about on the Popeyes property, kind of where we're at on that. We had to wait 6 months till after that cleared out before we could do anything. The next thing is parks equipment. I would like to amend the budget for $11,500. I did give you samples of 3 different pieces of parks equipment, playground equipment. The one on top is the one that we would like to go with. I will remind you that we had a person donate $8,500 towards the purchase of some equipment. And I will say that probably the last 3 years, maybe 4 years, I've actually budgeted $10,000 every year in that parks equipment category, and I've not used any of it. So that's why I'm asking for an additional $11,500 to purchase a piece of equipment. And it's the one that I would like to purchase was the one there. The next thing you did.
Wait a minute, I got a question on that one.
Okay.
So it'll be in addition to the 8,500, it'll be another 11,500.
Yeah. Well, now, it's going to be, yes. I've already got 10,000 in there, but as you can see, that piece of equipment is 20. Well, let me get to it. I've got copies of everything so you'd have it. The piece of equipment, after it's put there, installed, everything is brought up to ADA accessible. everything's followed by state, it would be a total of $29,710.10. Now, there are a couple of other options in here. There was one that was a little cheaper and one that was a little bit more. I just kind of wanted to give you a sample of the three to show you, but the one on top we feel would be better suited for what we need.
Which
So
one is it, Mayor?
it's-
Hold that one up. I got mine
it's
scrambled
one
up.
right on top with the star on it. And it's this right here.
The one with the star
Hold
on
it
it.
a little higher. Okay. Okay, I got it.
So like I say, I haven't spent anything on playground equipment for several years. And so we're going to put that on the side that the bathroom's on. We've got a few pieces there now, individual pieces, and we're actually going to use those pieces and put them throughout the park and put that one big set there on the side of the street next to the 4-H building. So last month, you did vote to do the add-on on the walking path. Need to amend the budget to include that $22,075. And then the last thing I've got is something that we didn't budget for that we needed, but we just needed to wait and see how we were going to end up, is the police department is needing radios. I did have Robin look up, and there is a page in there that he shows exactly how much it's going to be, which was I think 42,000. But I did just go on and do an even 50,000 just in case we ran into any problems. So that's going to be amending the budget $114,675. And after these amendments, we're still going to be left with an excess of $190,513.66.
All right, any questions?
That's what your projected on our overage would be.
Pardon?
The 190 is what you're projecting our overage would be.
Yes, that's what'll be if we spent every penny that was budgeted, which usually we do not. But if we did, that's what would be left over.
Any other questions?
I did last time I did a motion for A, B, and C. Is that okay? I started thinking about that after. Is that messing Larry up, or is that okay?
No,
Just
I'm
do it all
gonna do
at
it
one time.
I'm gonna do it under old business. We've already voted and discussed everything under old business.
I mean, the new business. I did last time. I said I make a motion for A, B, and C. I was just asking if that was okay.
No, that's fine with me. I don't know if it's,
Well, we kind of zipped through them, so we didn't ever make motions on them. I was just making sure.
Well, in this case, we needed a motion to approve this and send it as a recommendation to the council.
That's what I'm
I'll make
saying.
a-
Is it okay
just
for me to
do A, B, and C together.
You like that,
All we
Wayne?
discussed.
Okay.
All
I
right,
make a
that-
motion, we
Is that a motion?
send A, B, and C over to the agenda.
I second.
have a second?
Second.
All in favor, aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
Okay,
Next item.
that's the only three things that I have for budget right now.
Okay, do I hear a motion to adjourn the budget committee?
I make a motion, we adjourn.
Second.
All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Okay, Larry, it's yours.
Okay, I call the agenda meeting to order. And under old business, it's all ordinances we've already voted on. We've already been discussed. So Mayor, under new business, a resolution, condemnation of properties.
Yes, that is a resolution, and those are the 30 properties that we are wanting to bid in one lump sum to get torn down. And I've got my stuff turned upside down now.
Yeah, I have too. I got two. You said 30 properties?
I believe
27.
Excuse
They
me,
took some off.
27. Okay, yes, we have a resolution, and there are, 27 properties.
Okay,
That was that additional 100,000 that you decided to give to the code office to be able to tear down additional houses.
okay.
So I do need to put that on there to be
Need that on
voted.
the agenda?
Yes, it's a
Okay, all right, let's,
resolution.
Mayor, is that all you've got under new business?
Well, yes, except in the meantime, Cecilia wanted to add an additional item. Cecilia, you want to tell them what we need to add to that?
Yes, the condemnation suit that I filed against Midland Railroad regarding the water line that went underneath the railroad track. We did that, we signed an agreement with the Midland Railroad wherein we would, pay a yearly fee to have our line underneath the railroad, and that's it for eternity. And then I filed the condemnation suit to get us out of that situation. And Midland Road and I have come to an agreement, which David Costin has approved and the mayor has approved, in which we will no longer be responsible for a $900 per year fee. We have settled on an amount of $18,000 total, minus what we've already paid. So it comes to a little less than 18,000, but they will retain ownership of the ground, and we will have the agreement to have our line there, and we won't have ownership of the ground. The biggest issue we had was an insurance requirement that Midland had put on us in digging underneath that line, the railroad, to put the line in, and they wanted us to maintain an insurance policy on that, and we refused. So that's what led to the condemnation, which has ultimately been resolved. We will not carry any insurance on the actual line itself. Our only obligation is the contractors that we hire to do any maintenance to that line, which is extremely unlikely because I think David said it's buried like 18 feet. If we were to hire a contractor, the contractor would be insured itself. So the city bears no responsibility for anything that happens when the contractor does maintenance on the line, which is very unlikely to happen because it is an encased line and it's just not likely. But I would like to have approval for the mayor's signature on the contract, and that will allow us to dismiss the condemnation lawsuit and move on and not have to pay any more money at any future point to the Midland Railroad.
I mean,
Wouldn't that be under finance, Mayor? Are we paying money here? Aren't we paying a lump sum?
Yes, that might need to move over to finance.
Yeah.
But since it wasn't on there, I wanted to just wait to the end.
That's fine.
Yeah.
So my understanding is we're gonna pay a lump sum of around $18,000 and then our obligation is over.
Yes, sir.
As opposed to $900 a year.
Yes.
For eternity.
For as long as that line's there, yes.
but what's the other option if we continue with the condemnation lawsuit?
We'll actually own that little strip.
And never have to pay anything?
Well,
The court will make us pay what they consider it's worth.
we have to pay the fair market value of it.
Which would be less than or more than 18,000?
I would guess about the same. We've not had it appraised. We would have to have an appraisal and go from that number and pay the fair market value of it. So
Would we rather own the land though?
no, no, not at all. When we own it, we're responsible for it.
And there's a track going over it,
Gotcha.
a railroad
Okay.
track.
Yeah.
Okay.
We don't want to own any land that we don't need to.
Okay.
With this'll give us the ability to go in and do something if the line were to need maintenance or break or something like that. But ultimately,
We're not responsible for wear and tear.
right. And based on our immunity from suits, if we were to go in there and work on that line and we caused a problem, then barring some great negligence on our part, we're immune from suit on that. But that's the biggest issue. The railroad wanted to get us on the hook with some kind of insurance policy, and we refused, and this was our compromise. They didn't want us to condemn it. I really didn't want to condemn it, but we weren't going to pay $900 a year for eternity either. So it's kind of a happy medium.
Yeah,
Everybody's
the,
satisfied with it, and we
the
can move.
water line will be in there longer than 20 years, and that would be your 18,000.
Yeah,
Yeah,
your 20 years, I was gonna say, yeah, 20
That's what I
years
was
it will
gonna-
be paid
I
up.
calculated that. Just
The
had a
best-
couple questions.
Uh-huh.
Oh, that's a good question.
Can you
Well,
hear me?
Uh-huh.
Cecilia, if they ever sell, and that's probably not gonna happen, will the contract continue if
Yeah.
somebody else buys it?
Yes, ma'am. They will assign it to whomever purchases them, and that is a possibility that could happen. They've bought and sold many lines, so, but yes, it will continue.
Okay,
David, what did you have to say?
Well, the insurance that they were gonna require us to carry on liability for life on that thing, the best price we got on it was 20,000 a year. And then, insurance is not gonna go down.
Right.
Yeah, the 900 is just for the use of it, wasn't it? It was just to pay
Yes.
like a fee every year. The insurance itself was 20,000 a year.
Mhm.
Is that correct, David?
Yes.
Yeah. So really, it wasn't just the 900. It was 900 plus 20,000 a year.
Gotcha.
Starting to sound more and more like a bargain.
Yeah,
I
it
say,
is.
well, like the best deal.
They just didn't want us to condemn it. They wanted to own their line, all of it, and us not have that little piece out of
Well,
it.
and from what it sounds like, we want them to own their line. We just didn't want to have to pay all those fees.
Right.
We
Especially
just
the
won't be
big
able to tunnel under it.
Yeah.
Hey, Cecilia, will that be a resolution or just something we vote on or an ordinance?
It doesn't need to be a resolution or an ordinance. I just wanted your approval because the mayor does have to sign that contract, and it is 18
Yeah.
less some, so it is above 15,000.
Okay.
Mhm.
it's
All
just
right,
a
I'm gonna
simple
put that
motion.
I'm gonna put that under item D, under finance,
Okay.
Okay.
Midland contract, approval to sign the contract. But anyway, Mayor, you got anything else under agenda?
Nope, that's it.
Okay, we're gonna go back up to new business. We've discussed A, B, C, and D. Do I have a motion and a second to put these 4 items on next city council meeting agenda?
I make a motion, we put these on the next city council meeting.
Do I have a second?
Second,
Is there any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All right, they're on there, Mayor. Under old business, do I have a motion and second to put A, B, and C item on, the next city council meeting agenda?
I'll make the motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, those 3 are on there, Mayor. Okay, under new business, do I have a motion to second to put the resolution for the condemnation of properties on next city council meeting agenda?
so move.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay, Mayor, that's on there. All right, Mayor's any citizens wishing to appear? Do we have any visitors on here tonight at the next council meeting?
Do we have anybody that wants to? I did not get contacted by anyone. Anybody on the call? I guess not, Larry.
All right, any council member have anything else they'd like to bring up for the agenda? All right, do I get a motion to adjourn the agenda?
Motion.
Second,
Second,
we're adjourned.
Okay, now I've got a few things to kind of let you know and then ask you a couple things. We are going to finally start bidding on the police station on April the 25th. We got all the engineers, civil engineers, all the borings done, everything that we had not realized was going to take so long, but that's going to be let to bid on April the 25th. Also, we have set up a groundbreaking for the Malvern Fire Department on Tuesday, April the 13th at 10 a.m. for anybody that would like to come. I am partnering with the chamber on that, and they'll be there to kind of help us out with that. If you haven't been out there to see it, which I'm sure you all have, I feel like it's they're still doing dirt work, but they're doing a lot of packing and getting ready. We also are going to work on a little bit of drainage there behind that house and for the actual building itself. We're met with the contractor, myself, Michael, Jacob, Brian Golden, and the gentleman that has the house to make sure that we had some drainage culverts put in place because there is a little bit of a drainage issue there. So we're going to fix it while we're there. The only other thing I've got, I was going to ask you about the mask. You know, we have made it mandatory that if you go into any of our city buildings, you had to wear a mask. Our governor did take off the state mandate, and the Arkansas Municipal League is still recommending to do that, but it's going to be left up to the governing body of the cities to do that. So if that's something you want to do, then I'll need to know so we can do an ordinance to continue the mask in city buildings.
I think we need to continue the mask.
I think it
I
needs to
agree.
continue.
I agree.
Okay. Do you have a problem then if I work? The municipal league has got a sample ordinance, said they were going to finish it up today, based on what the governor said, and have it ready for us tomorrow. Do you want me to add that to the agenda? And I mean, at the time, we can discuss it at the meeting. If you choose not to do it at that time, then you can always not vote on it. So I'll have.
The governor's was just a recommendation. His thoughts on it?
The governor is actually wanting, well, what the Arkansas Municipal League said is the governor's wanting to put the power back on the cities to mandate what they want to do in each
So
city.
he didn't pass anything to lift the mandate.
Yes, the
He just let it
mandate.
expire.
The state
Mandate is
mandate
He let
is-
it expire. Didn't renew it.
I'm
I'm
sorry, he
Matthew.
what?
Go ahead, Matthew.
He let it expire, so it is done. They chose not to renew the mandate. It expired.
Okay.
Yes.
So
But
he didn't pass anything to say that it was, okay.
no, but he's put it back on the cities to pass their own information. I don't think he said that what he said at his meeting, I mean his speech, or the day he talks on Tuesdays, was that he was going to put it back in the hands of the individual businesses and city and county government to mandate what they wanted to do with their own buildings. So a business can, request you to put a mask on or require you to put a mask on. And we can also do the same thing in city and county buildings, but they did recommend to do an ordinance to just cover city and county buildings. So I'll get that. The Mark Hayes today told me that they would have the ordinance probably ready by tomorrow. They're working with the governor to do it exactly the way he had intended. And it's not the whole city, it's strictly city buildings, which I know that a lot of our people have gotten the vaccine. A few of them have not gotten it. But I just think that it would, be the safest thing to do to continue to require them. But that's.
How long are you thinking
Do
about
they
doing
put
that
out,
for?
Go ahead, Larry. I'm
sorry.
sorry.
do they put out numbers on how many people have been vaccinated? Does the CDC or anybody keep up with that?
At the local level,
Yes, like Hot Spring County?
I probably can get that information. I don't have it offhand, but I can probably get it for you. Now, I do know that we had a lot of trouble with all we could get through our community care pharmacy was 100 vaccines a week. That's all she was getting. The hospital was getting about 150, and then the Walmart started getting some at the federal level. But Shalene and I have talked to a lot of people. I've talked to one of the governor's liaisons. I've talked to the health department. She's talked to the health department, and we've actually been up to 400 a week. So she's still got about 800 people, I think, on her list. I actually volunteered one weekend to do some calling to get people in and get them scheduled for shots. So she is getting more now, and hopefully she'll get her list whipped out pretty quickly.
How
David,
long
did you have something?
How long? Yeah, how long are you wanting to continue this for?
Well, I mean, we can actually put it in place and then we can actually abolish it at any time you want to.
I mean, I would say until the numbers are at an acceptably low level. We can't, I don't think that you can really put a timeline on this, can you?
Well,
I'm just curious how long it goes out, you know. I mean, personally, I mean, I'll just be honest, I'm not a big fan of the mask thing. Y'all probably know or whatever, but I just have a hard time seeing it all, the sense of it all. That's my mentality about
Well,
it.
here's
But I
the deal.
understand trying to protect people and stuff, but also at the same time, being careful about how far you carry something like this out and hopefully with an end in sight. And you know, that's all I'm saying.
There's not many people wearing masks now when you go to Walmart.
No.
There's not
And
many at
I
all.
think a lot of
So
people.
you're gonna be faced with people every day that are not wearing masks. So, but it doesn't matter to me. If you want to make the city buildings, you know, city offices.
I think people think it's still in place because there hasn't been one person come in my office without a mask, even after the governor did let it expire. Cecilia, did you have something?
Yes, we had city court this morning, and I feel much safer requiring that every defendant that comes into the courtroom wear one, because we do get closer than 6 feet with individuals.
Well, and I will tell you, your individuals that are residents in a congregate setting, such as your jails, your prisons, long-term care facilities, but that's, you know, neither here nor there. But your congregate setting residents are at a much higher risk for transmitting this. So,
well, we're
And just
still,
having the shot, you might think you're safe, but the
well, and
shot.
just because you're vaccinated, I mean, maybe you won't get it, but that doesn't mean you're not still eligible to transmit the virus.
Yeah.
we're still using Zoom in the court system. The individuals are walking in the doorway right there in the foyer, and we're on the other side of the wall. Well, all the court staff is, except for me, of course, and the bailiff. We have to come talk to each individual. So I would ask you all to keep that going in the city court building for sure. Whether or not you want to do the whole city or not, but I would much appreciate you keeping it for city court in that municipal court building.
I would like to go along with it too, especially if the league recommends it.
Well, they did recommend it today. I had a Zoom call with Mark Hayes and several other mayors, and that's what they were recommending.
This is what I'm saying, like down the road, as you see more and more people fighting the mask, I want us to be careful that we're not putting ourselves in a position where every time somebody walks in the door, you're constantly having to be like, all right, put the mask on, buddy, put the mask on, buddy. And you know, it's like, it becomes a troublesome thing down the road as more and more people are steering away from the mask. That's what I'm talking about. I'm not saying now, but yeah, I think you're going to see it naturally happen. More people are going to, I think a lot of people are already tired of the mask, you know, some, at least a portion of the population. So you'll see a natural tendency to fight it. And we don't want to necessarily, when it comes to the lower numbers, like Matthew's saying, or whatever, when it starts, I think we need to be reasonable as a city too, and not require something that is also unreasonable at some point.
I agree with that.
Sense?
As long as the numbers are low and we're at a low transmission risk, I completely agree. But if people are getting tired of it and our numbers are still high, I don't think we should concede just because people are tired of wearing a mask.
I'm saying at some point in
but
time,
if you see me
you gotta
out,
be faced with it.
I mean, I'm telling you, I work 12, 16 hours a day wearing a mask. I understand some people get tired of it, but if our numbers are still high, there's no reason that we should stop requiring a mask, at least in our buildings. I'm not saying we should make it citywide by any means.
I agree.
If the numbers get lower, absolutely, we can abolish the ordinance and try to return to some sense of normalcy. I think we all want that.
That's what I just said.
I wasn't arguing with you. I'm just saying.
Okay.
Well, I think we're all sick of masks, keeping up with it, remembering it, keeping a clean one going all the time. We're all sick of it, but I'm going to keep wearing mine
I am too.
for a long time to come, probably.
Absolutely.
Well, as soon as I get the ordinance, I'll take a look at it. I'll go by what the municipal league recommends, and I will add that to the agenda. And then you can talk about it at the meeting. You can pass it or not pass it. At least it'll be there for you.
Good.
The next thing I was going to also mention was, at what point do you want to try to start meeting in person, or do you want to continue meeting like this? Cecilia did get an opinion from the Attorney General that as long as we make it available to the public, we can continue meeting this way. Is that correct, Cecilia?
Yes, the municipal league has informed us that we're good to go if we choose to. It is completely up to you guys.
So, but I need to know if you want to start meeting back in person, or if you want to continue doing this, for a little while longer, what you want to do. It's up to you.
I'm kind of like
Take-
Matthew.
need to
Let's
continue
Wearing
like
a
this for a
mask,
while.
I don't want to do it.
Okay, one person at a time. Okay, Lynn, let's do you first.
I'm kind of with Matthew. Let's watch the numbers. We talked about that
Exactly.
today. It's too close. I mean, our
I would be fine with meeting in person, but if I've got to wear a mask, I feel like that's retarded.
See, I don't want to meet with you if you're not wearing a mask.
Right.
Exactly. So
After
Well,
what we
let's do
through.
this. In the meantime, let's continue meeting this way, and then we'll,
Great.
as time goes on, we'll see how the numbers are, and if things get a lot better, then we'll go back to meeting in person. Okay?
Sounds good.
All right.
Sounds good.
Anybody
good.
have anything else? That's all that I think I've got. Other than you did read the information about right on top of your packet. Just wanted to kind of let you know that was going on about the cardboard situation. I want you to know what's going on, just in case you hear anything out there on the street.
that is just wrong, and I wish there was something we could do as a city, because that affects us. I'm sure it
Yeah.
affects Matthew's place of work. I mean, we depended on them to pick up our cardboard.
Right. And the
I-
thing of it is they will continue only if the city will cover the expenses, which includes trucks, drivers, and everything. And I told them we just couldn't do that. We never set it up to start with. That was something that they set up years ago when paper prices were at the high.
Right.
You said
But
you got some calls about it. What's the input you're
Well,
getting?
the businesses are upset because they're not wanting to put those boxes in their trash bin, because that just fills their trash bins. Most of them do have the big trash compactors, but if they put their boxes in there, it fills it up.
Absolutely.
But on the other hand, if you look at it this way, if they have a business plan out there and it doesn't get to be where it's profitable anymore, they're going to stop doing it.
Right, and that's what happened.
That sounds like to me, why should they expect somebody else to do it at a loss when they wouldn't do something like that at a loss?
Well, I totally get it. I do. I mean, profit and loss is easy, understand. I just wish there was something we as a city could do to help our.
Now, they still provide them a place to take it, don't they, Mayor?
Yes, they can take it to any of the trash compactors at no charge. But what they're saying, but they're not making enough off of the paper now to pay for their trucks and their drivers to pick it up.
Yeah, I understand why they're getting out of the business. Yeah, I get that, but
And so they said the only way they would do it would be if the city paid for it. Well, that's quite a bit of money. And that's something, those services that we've ever offered. And I did want you to know that we do pay solid waste $497 a month for the e-waste for our citizens to be able to, and we take e-waste too from the back behind the street.
how many businesses do they pick up for?
I do not know the answer to that. I can find
Well,
out.
would they be willing to pay the difference? Where it would at least be a break-even deal?
I can check if you want me to.
If the businesses would be willing to pay the difference, or maybe even pay a little more, it looks like to me it'd be convenient. They're just gonna pass it on to the consumer anyway.
Right. Well, I'll be glad to find out how many there are, but I feel like it's probably just about every business we've got in the city. The solid waste actually brought bins out for you to put your cardboard in. Isn't that true, Lynn? So they brought those bins, like I say, they've been doing it for many, many years.
Oh, for.
Was it
long-
always a break-even deal or was it a profitable deal?
I
No,
think
they
it was
begged us
profitable
for
after
our
the beginning.
paper. They begged us at one point to let them pick up our cardboard.
Because it was profitable, but it's no longer
Yes.
profitable. The prices are down so low. Now, we do still offer that truck there on the chamber. Well, it's the parking lot by the chamber. It's the city's parking lot, but we do still have that truck with the camper on it that people bring newspapers, and we actually just drive them out to the solid waste and put them in their bin at no charge. Because we also used to take the paper out of that paper truck to Hot Springs and sell it, and it got to the point that it wasn't even profitable to pay for our gas to go over there. So that's why we started just taking it out to the solid waste. So do you want me to find out how many businesses or?
Well, I'd just see if solid waste could come up with a number and approach the businesses and see if they're willing to pay to get it picked up.
Let me just say this from a business owner. This is what I do. When I have trash or whatever, I just take it and pay what I've got to pay.
Well, and they'll take
There
the
you
They
go.
charge
cardboard
me
at no
$10
charge.
a truckload. I mean, you
The
know, it just
business-
depends on what you're doing.
Mhm.
I don't
They
know how.
They'll take it at no charge. They just don't want to pick it up anymore from the individual businesses.
I think that's on the business's responsibility to take care of themselves. That's what I do.
Yeah, but you
I
don't
mean, that's
probably
really
have
sweet
the,
of us. I mean, if
the
we want to provide that service, we're
level
going to cough
that a
up some
lot of us
counseling.
have.
I'm
What'd
sorry.
you say, Lynn? Excuse me.
You probably don't have the level of boxes that like the nursing facilities have. I'm
You'd be
talking,
surprised at the debris that I come up with.
And,
Well-
and David, I don't think anybody's discrediting the volume that you have, but I don't think there's anything wrong with us seeing if we couldn't facilitate that communication between them and the businesses to make an agreement to help everybody. If it doesn't work out, then it doesn't work out.
Yeah, and the solid waste would just have to come up with a number. And I don't know how they'd do that, but somebody needs to sit down and figure out what it's costing and what they're getting for the paper and just come up with a number and approach them with it.
Okay. Well, I will call Ray Cook. He's the new manager there. I'll call him tomorrow and talk to him. Okay. Anything else? That's the only thing that I've got. All right. Then do I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn, Mayor.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All right. We are adjourned. See you next Monday.